The legal challenge for a migrant who was wrongly deported under the Trump administration can continue. This despite the decision by President Trump's administration to bring him back to the U.S. to face criminal charges. The federal government brought Kilmar Abrego Garcia back to the States last month after deporting him to El Salvador. The government claims that he's a gang member and a threat to society and will be deported, but they've not spoken on where exactly he would be going. The judge finding that whether the administration fully complied with prior orders to facilitate Abrego's return and allow his immigration case to be handled as though he had not been improperly deported.
We're joined now by Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes to break this down. You've got two different cases in two different states. The government saying we're going to bring him back. Now we want to deport him again. Where does this all break down? Because also we're going to have a court appearance on Thursday where the DHS is supposed to have a witness to say what exactly are you planning to do with all of this?
You know what? This is a very confusing case, and I've been following this from the moment it happened, so I want to make sure folks that are watching at home know exactly what's happened so far. 2019, a judge says that he was not deportable, meaning that he had met the qualifications to show that if you sent him back to his country, he'd be killed, tortured, or put in some type of life-endangering situation. So the judge placed the order that you cannot deport him. He's seeking asylum in our country, right? 2019. Well, in March of 2025, the government wrongfully deports him. And at some point originally admitted, yes, we wrongfully deported this person. But guess what? We're not going to bring him back. He ultimately was returned back. But when he was brought back, the government said, hey, not so fast. We're going to charge you. We're going to charge you with crimes, with, bringing folks into the country and doing a number of other things. And then at some point, the judge, before the government, concluded and begun their case against him, the judge said, well, you guys have to release him on the original thing that you were holding him for. The government in response says, well, thank you, Your Honor, for giving us that advice. But if you release him, we'll deport him. I've never seen a situation like this where this is like, okay, you have one move, we got another move right for you around the corner. And so this hearing yesterday was really the judge's attempt to figure out, A, why you guys did not comply with my orders, and B, are you going to follow any previous orders that were put in place? But you know that you're in a bad situation when the judge says this. It's like trying to nail Jell-O to a wall. That's what she said, of trying to make sense of the government's arguments of what they're trying to do and how they've explained how we got here. So to say that I'm confused is an understatement, because the judge is extremely confused.
Wimbledon is going on right now. I feel like this is a legal tennis match. I have no idea what the score is right now. I mean, honestly, I really don't. And we're working in this business, right? So I'm trying to keep it up with what's going on. The judge says, I want to know when, I want to know where. What does that requirement, that specific requirement that she's asking for, how does that help his case here?
Well, a couple of things. It doesn't help it helps the original deportation process, because they're suing the government for wrongfully deporting him.
Right.
So regarding, like Julian said, there's two different claims. I think it helps in that first case.
Okay.
But in the second case, the government will have to prove things that they're making these statements on, that he's a gang member, that he's they help transport people here illegally. If you can support that, the comments and the claims that the government failed to abide by the orders, or failed to abide by this 2019 order, is a moot point in their case. The government tried to say it was a moot point in the family's underlying case, and the judge didn't buy that. She said, just because you brought him back doesn't mean that you didn't violate the order. That's like saying, I stole money from you and then I give it back to you. It doesn't mean that I didn't steal it from you. And that's the analogy that the judge is trying to make here. Just because you remedied or, cured the issue doesn't mean that the issue didn't occur. And so the government's response to her saying, well, this is moot, this lawsuit should be tossed, we brought him back. The judge said, well, you should have never deported him in the first place. And that's why the family is now seeking the lawsuit.
Khalif, real quick, do you think the Maryland judge is going to issue an order saying that you cannot deport him? If he is released, we don't think he'll be released, but if he is released, saying you cannot deport him until the Tennessee case is fully wrapped up?
I don't think the judge has authority to do that. And that's why they're saying keep him locked up. Because she has authority to keep him locked up, but she doesn't have authority to stop ICE, Department of Homeland Security, or anyone else from deporting him once he's free.
There it is.
All right, Khalif, thank you. Appreciate that. Got another topic to pick your brain about. We'll have you in about another half hour.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.